Whoa. Ho, ho, ho. I made myself my own Secret Santa. And this year, on Black Friday, about a month ago, I decided to sample some Elitewheels GNAR XCs, which are in this box right now. They arrived from China to Canada with no duties for the pricely sum of $640 US.
I got these bad boys straight off the Elitewheels website rather than using a broker such as AliExpress. Key considerations for a 99.92 kilogram man is the rider weight limit. I'm not sure, though, when they say this and this recommended tire sizes and compatible tire sizes, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Intended use is cross country. I'm going to use them down country. And of course, this weight is super attractive. It's pretty much a standard build when you have 2 cross, front and rear, 28 spokes. And you know, nothing says mountain biking, especially cross country, like Alpina ultralight aero spokes.
The box arrived undamaged from China. And here's what was inside. The front wheel came in one of these little bags with a little foamy thing to protect it. And the rear wheel came in this very nice wheel bag. Although right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I really don't need a wheel bag. I'm not sure who'd use this, but it is nice. And in there, I ordered spare spokes for the front and rear. Let's see here. There's the spokes. And it also came with, which is weird for Chinese products, instruction manuals. And finally, the rear wheel. And another one of these little baggies. Now right off the bat, these came undamaged. I've already unboxed it and checked them. But I think they could have done a little better job if you compared it to, say, We Are One Composites or Noble Wheels in Canada, which I bought a fair bit of products off as far as packing goes. I can tell you already, for the price of these wheels, I'm seriously impressed. They come with your warranty card, product manual. It's probably useless, but we'll see. And a quality control report. And they actually give you the specifications the wheels should be built to and a stamp indicating that they were checked. Whether that's true or not, we'll see. The wheels themselves are 28 straight pull spokes, front and rear, alloy nipples, 6-bolt rotors, mounts, because there's like center lock, I'm not a huge fan, particularly for mountain biking, because if you're in the middle of nowhere and they come loose, how are you supposed to tighten them? And with these, I've got a micro spline hub. Right off the bat, too, they came rim taped. And I can tell you that the rim tape they've used in this 30mm bed is quite high quality. This is what came, let's say, about 5-10 years ago when Easton was selling. I think they're either Havoc or Haven wheels. And I never had a problem with this rim tape. As compared to modern rims. And this is, what are these? This is a Chinese wheel. Yeah, this is Nexty, I think. You look at the bead of these things and they'll crack, but I've taped these with muck-off rim tape, which I refer to as peel-off or F-off rim tape because it fails so frequently.
Elite. I'm not sure what Inspector 01 was doing today, but he might have missed a few things, and we'll get into that. But the comment I got is, if you were designing one of these forms, typically what you do is have a separate check mark for each item, or maybe even have them like I have here, write down our observations when looking through it.
The moment of truth. The front wheel weighs 637. And the rear wheel weighs 735. And just to be clear, that's with this rather robust rim tape and these wonderful tubeless / rim insert ready valves installed for a total weight of...
Elite, you did a pretty good job of sticking to your specifications on the rim dimensions. And I will point out that there are about 3 millimeter shoulders on each side of these identical front and rear asymmetric cross-country rims, which is pretty good for impact resistance.
No spoke twist on either wheel. These are the replacement spokes I purchased with the wheel. I believe they're Alpina Arrows. They've got about the same stiffness as, or maybe slightly more than, a CX Ray Sapphire spoke, and definitely way less than a CX Sprint. And usually, given my size, when I'm building wheels, I'll use a Sprint rather than a CX Ray spoke.
From your QC brochure, these are your specifications. This is what I measured. So I think, especially with the lateral run out of the wheel, 01 might have been on a smoke break. 01, once again, for the lateral run out test of this wheel, might have been outside or having a snack or something. So based on your criteria, Elite Wheels, considering that you want the front wheel in this range and the rear wheel in this range, it means an approximately 8% of spoke tension difference between all the spokes on each individual wheel, if you round it. If you look at the spoke tensions in the front wheel, considering a 10% criteria, which is close to 8% for the Elite wheel spec, these wheels were pretty close with your usual outlier. And if you look at a previous review of mine of a Yoleo set of wheels, pretty comparable, and I was concerned about it, but exactly nothing happened. When we get to the rear wheel, on the cassette side, or the tension side, there was just one outlier. Otherwise, the wheel was pretty darn good. And I put it in red over here. Now, the problem is when we get to the non-tension side of the wheel, it looks like a ninja throwing star, with 2 being quite low. Let's say right here, and here, and here. That's actually 3, 4. Let's say with a reading of 11 and 12 rather than the average, which is 13 or 14. The issue with that is that's roughly between a 30 and 35% variance.
If you read the comments and stories of customer service from Chinese wheel manufacturers, you'll see that if a wheel comes and it's not built that great, typically what they'll do is they will do a warranty by letting the customer take it to a local bike shop and tune the wheel up. In this case, I'm not even going to bother. I'm not going to contact Elite Wheels. That's my choice. What I'm going to do on this rear wheel is I'm just going to bring up to tension the 2 worst spokes on the non-cassette side. That was a little bit more work than I thought it was. These spokes are quite soft. I'll use that word, or ductile. So after all this faffing around, this wheel now is about 4 millimeters out of straight, or it's got a 4 millimeter wobble in it. What I think I'm going to do is end up taking this to someone far more skilled than I am at wheel truing to see if they can save it before contacting Elitewheels. It seems to be one of the critical things in these wheel reviews. I pulled all the end caps out and there's grease between the end cap and the bearing. Oh, let's just see here if I can get that back in.
These are your typical Chinese hubs. If you listen to Joe at Panda Podium, he says there's probably really only 2 hub manufacturers in the major wheel building centers. But it's your typical boost spacing, steel bearings. We don't want ceramic. An excellent 6-bolt rather than center lock. 50-tooth ratchet. And I took the micro spline, so I can't comment on these other free hub variations.
You have a single seal on the free hub side. Let's pull this out. Your micro spline type free hub. Pretty typical. What I really enjoy is the fact that this spring, unlike the DT Swisses, you can't screw it up. You can put it in any way and it'll still work. And then, much the same as the DT Swiss EXP hubs, this part of this conical driver is part of the hub body. And this 50-tooth one comes in and out. I'd be curious about the long-term durability of this, but we'll see. Really love how free hub maintenance, oops, wet the bed there, is becoming so simple now. On the other side of the hub, you end up with, I think this is a double labyrinth seal, I'm not sure. And once again, as I pointed out before, the grease on the bearings. Double seal, grease again. This side, single seal, grease again over the bearings, non-disc side. I'm going to mount up a Maxxis Forecaster just to see how well the whole tubeless thing works. There's probably going to be some of this video sped up. We'll see if this works with just my massive Blackburn pump with the Presta-Core in. Well, that was easy. I've taken this up to about 40 psi just because I want to have this tire on here because I've got a potential theory about something. So the theory I have is about this wheel bag. Let's see if I'm right. Now I assume if you're giving a wheel bag out with a set of cross-country wheels, and this is a 2.4 tire, that, nope, yep. So, like, look, Elite, you've given me a wheel bag that supposedly comes with a cross-country wheel set, which appears only to fit road tires. Maybe, just maybe, you could have spent that time given Quality Control Inspector 01 some more help in reviewing the spoke tensions on the wheels. Just an idea. So basically what you've got here is a road wheel bag with a set of mountain bike wheels that is useless. Elite, I really don't think we need this wheel bag. You can put this into quality control. If you disagree with me, disagree in the comments down below. But generally, considering the cost of these wheels, I think I got a fair bit of value. The rim tape is excellent. The valve stems are excellent. It seems that the spokes and the hubs are reasonable and are at least comparable to other Chinese hubs on more expensive wheels that I've gotten. The main issue is the spoke tension on the build quality. And I'm going to take this to a professional bike mechanic and get them to sort this out. Given the fact I got these wheels about 30% off on Black Friday, I'm not going to spend the time to ask you to recover those costs, which some manufacturers do if you read the forums. Once I get that sorted out, the long-term plan is I'm going to take these wheels and put them through at least 20 hours of real downcountry mountain biking, probably with this Forecaster in the front and with a Recon in the back with a rim insert, probably a rim-packed cross-country one, relatively light to protect the rim. I'm not too concerned about impact though if these are used right because of the rather wide 3mm shoulder in them. So look, with that, like, subscribe if you got any questions, and like I said before, comments, disagree with me, put her down below. And with that, ride hard. Although I gotta admit, it's really cold out.